Traffic Jam is on now.
Hey, welcome to Traffic Jam. I'm your guest host, Kenny Williams, and I'm here. Our guest we have from Comedy Central presents Showtime at the Apollo with 15 million views. White Boys in the Hood is my friend, DC Benny. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, good to see you, man. Good to see you. It's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
You got a studio in the background. Man, stuff has changed. Stuff has changed.
I had to, and you know, for us, we've been doing it a long time, and we never. This is like a place that we never really saw as like evolving and adjusting to the situation and what have you, man.
You got to do it, man. You got to do it. You got to roll with the punches and learn all the stuff the young cats are doing, and
yeah,
learn all this stuff, man. I mean, I made a tweet today. I'm very proud of myself, but I made a tweet, so that's good.
Well, I know we've been knowing each other for years, but it's going to be something. What I love about this interview is going to be a lot of things that I'm going to learn about DC Benny. Benny, is Ben short for Benjamin, Benedict, Bedensky? What is?
Yeah, it's Benjamin. I'm a Benjamin, and I used to, my name is Ben Wartofsky, and then I've told this a million times, but DC Benny came from, because when I came to New York, I didn't know anybody, and I came to the Uptown first. That was my first spot that I was trying to do comedy. Tony Woods had told me about it, and I went up there. And at the time, I was just Ben because nobody could say my last name. So I went on like the song, like the Rat, Ben. I had a like Sting or some shit, and I wasn't even just who's this like open mic guy with one name, like a supermodel, and because I kept trying to tell people like Uncle Jimmy Mack would host there, and I'd be like, what's your name? And I'd be like Ben Wartofsky. He'd be like, what? I'd be like, Ben Wartofsky. And so then I guess he had just named Brooklyn Mike. He could never say my last name. He's like, you're Benny. You're from DC. You're DC Benny, and that was that. And that's where that came from.
Wow.
So, and I never, I never changed. It just stuck, man.
You're watching the Traffic Jam.
Uncle Jimmy Mack, the late for everyone, man. Uncle Jimmy Mack was as good friends when he was rest in peace with Tracy Morgan, the situation. But he named a lot of Brooklyn Mike and Capone. He named Capone, the gangster account comedy, Capone. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he named it was because I knew Jimmy Mack before I knew Tracy. So me and him had this connection. So he would tell me, I'm like, how do you just come up? He said, that's what I, that's what I do,
That's crazy, man. That is crazy. I didn't know the Capone thing. Yeah, man, Jimmy Mack would name everybody. It's kind of like if you got your name, you kind of made your bones a little bit. It was like, he's not going to take the time to name you if you weren't funny or, making some moves or, worth taking the time to name. So I took it like a compliment, and it made life a lot easier. I'll tell you, to be DC fan.
So you got an extensive body of work, but there's a couple of things that pop up. And so I'm glad I can ask these questions. When you did the Super Bowl Budweiser commercial, you really did How You Doing. That whole commercial, How You Doing, was way before Wendy Williams. What did that do to your career?
I have on my YouTube channel, I tell the story of that commercial, right? Of those commercials. But what it was so funny because what had happened was the Budweiser, the What's Up commercials had come out, and those were huge, right? Boom. So Sopranos was hot at the time. Sopranos was a brand new show. So they did a Budweiser wanted to do like a Sopranos type, like these mobsters in Jersey sitting at a bar waiting to whack somebody, but instead of what's up, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? So, I went to the audition, and because it's New York, it's all there's like real mobsters mixed up in there. There's a trash truck double parked in front. Everybody got a sweatsuit. You know, hey, good. Hey, what are you doing? My balls on your face. Good, good. You know, it's like that whole, and and all you had to say was, how you doing? That's all you had to say. That commercial, you know, I remember waiting to audition. There was a guy in the corner, you know, who's not an actor, and he's practicing. He's like, how you doing? No. And he's talking to himself like, how you doing? And I'm just watching this guy like, wow, man, they really brought everybody in for this thing. And I was brought in to audition with that guy, and the director was a little Southern dude, and he's like, all right, I want y'all to say, how you doing? That's all you got to say. And he's like, Anthony, to the guy. He goes, Anthony, I want you to say how you. The guy's like, how you, and he punches the wall and leaves. He totally forgot the line. He couldn't do it. He's like, and the guy's like, well, what happened? I don't know. So I said, how you doing? Made me say it like 30 different times. And then I booked a commercial, and I'm sorry if this is a long answer, but it came out, and I lived in Brooklyn in an Italian neighborhood. So that was like, people would come up to me, and I mean, I was like infamous in my neighborhood because, and people would come with a lot of critiques. Like, you're not saying how you doing right. It's got to come from here. It's got to come from here. How you doing? How you doing? Let's get some bass in. How you doing? You know. And a song came out. There was a "How You Doing" song on KTU, and the whole thing about the song was that the guys in the "How You Doing" commercials weren't doing him right. You know, and it ended up being like 7 commercials. It was like a whole bunch of them, but they played 1 or 2 a whole lot. But it ended up, and it was it was like, I got a little, you know, I got a nice, got a nice check out of it, and it was a nice run, and it's just funny how that stuff goes to people's heads. Like, you know, yeah, I would be getting scripts in the mail from another comedian who had never talked to me before, like for a "How You Doing" show that he had written, like that he wants to be the head writer on. I'm like, bro, it's a commercial. You know what I mean? You're sending me a pilot for some shit. You know what I mean? But it was great, man. It was a great gig, and it was like, you know, it ran like Super Bowl. I think they did an Oscars one, and it was cool to be. And I remember this one little funny note about it. It's like, it got to be where I didn't want to leave my apartment at the time because there were so many people on my block who were like, how you doing? How you doing? You're not saying it right, doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I remember I went to a shrink for the first time. It was like all this stuff was going in my head. How you doing? How you doing? I went to a shrink for the first time. My wife's like, just go, you know, just. And I remember sitting down in this lady's office. She takes off her glasses and she looks at me. She goes, so, how are you doing? It was so funny to me.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
From judging from your last name, you're not Italian. What is your background?
Man, Polish and I'm a real mutt. You know, I mean, I'm a real mutt. Half Jewish, like half cat. I mean, it's just, if you look at my family, like nobody looks the same. Everybody looks moderately Puerto Rican, you know, in my family. You know.
Did that work? So did that work for you or work against you as far as like having this look?
You know, I can't say it really helped me. I can't say that it really, you know, because in the industry, in the comedy industry, they like to know exactly what to do with you. So they like it spelled out for them, because a lot of these people, unfortunately, who are in these positions, decision makers and trigger pullers and all that, are not that creative. They don't know what to do. They like to, everybody's worried about losing their job. So they want to take something that's worked before and plug something else into it, you know? So for instance, you know, I remember I got very close to Saturday Night Live, you know, I would do these characters. I got very close. I remember sitting down with Lorne Michaels, And he gave me this whole speech about, he's like, I don't want a John Leguizamo, like kind of street guy or whatever. And I'm like, dude, do you see what I do? I'm the furthest. I'm 6'4", first of all. I'm like this tall. I'm like, we look. I don't talk like this, son. I mean, I don't shy to my mouth, son. You know what I mean? But people would always try and plug me into something. They'd be like Jimmy Smits or John Leguizamo or whatever, and I didn't. That wasn't really who I was. So it has never been easy. It's never been easy, but the other part of it is I always felt like I fit in New York. Like, I just being a mutt, you just kind of blend in. You just see other mutts around you, and it's like you're like in the mutt capital. So that was a blessing, and I wouldn't change anything. It's just you got to spell shit out for people. You got to really spell it out, and if you don't, then it's you got to hustle harder. I've found so. So I can't say it really helped anything at all.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
You're from DC, you come to New York, and one of the things you got like these great dialects, and if like from the Jamaicans and Italians, did you get that coming from New York? Because I know DC is diverse, but it's nothing like you said. We're the mutt capital of the world. Did you get it from New York?
Yeah, I got a lot in DC because growing up, my dad was from Brooklyn, and he had this thick Brooklyn accent growing up, and it would just bug people out. Like they'd hear it, he'd be like, bring me the coffee over there. And nobody had, there wasn't, people had that like Baltimore accent, like, that's nice, Sean. You're gonna lay that there in that newspaper, it was so I don't know. I just really gravitated towards characters and dialects and stuff like that already. And then, coming to New York, there were, I had a pocket full of them already. I'd been around Jamaicans, I've been around, Latinos and stuff like that, but then boom, you come to New York and I'm living in the Bronx and I'm like, I'm hearing Dominicans and I'm like, wow, that's like music, man. I'm hearing that. I'm like, I got, it's exciting. You get that, it definitely added. It definitely added because it was like I was running out of stuff in DC. You've pretty much hit the sort of ethnic quota there of characters, because a lot of my characters are ethnic. So it was kind of, I like covered everybody. And then I came to New York, and man, it was like being reborn. It's like you got a whole new tray of toys to play with. That's what it felt like.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Well, let me ask you this question. During this time, was there ever a point where you was like, I want to quit comedy?
Probably every other day. It's like I think talking to you about this it's a very frustrating business, man. It's very frustrating. It really, and I've said this before, I don't know how much it has to do with your funniness. There's that plays a part in it. And as a new comedian, when I came in, I'm like, you just got to be funny and you got to rip the room, and then you're undeniable. And to an extent that can be true. You can make yourself undeniable, but there's just, the business is something else. And the amount of rejection that you're going to be taking. Anybody who's been in it a long time has been, it's like you're going to get rejected again and again and again and again. And you have to be real strong. And it's hard, man. It's inexplicably hard to explain to somebody who hasn't been through that. Like, I remember I had a buddy that was working in finance, and he got laid off after X amount of years with this company. And he couldn't handle it because he had headhunters calling him to give him jobs. As soon as he got laid off, nobody wanted to touch him. I'm like, bro, that happened to me in 2001. you know, you gotta man up with this. I mean, this is, you know, I had to talk this guy off the ledge, but it was interesting to see somebody who hadn't experienced that much rejection. You know, you realize as a comedian how much, you know, you get close to something. You call clubs to get bookings. You email. You know, there's TV shows. There's this. There's that. And you know, if you're not in a certain pocket of people, it's very, very hard to get the work. It's not based on look at this. Look at how, you know, how you killed in front of these people or whatever, or how you can rip a room. It's got to do with so much other stuff. So I don't want to complain about it or whatever, but it takes a toll. It really does take a toll, and it has, and it did, and it does. So I just try to, you know, push through, and the thing, the other part of it is you love to do it so much. I just love being up there making people laugh, man. Yeah. That's it. You know, the rest of the stuff is incidental, you know, being on this show or doing whatever, but just to be up there making people laugh, and it's such a gift to us as well, you know, that to hear that, you know, and to have people, you know, you can change a life like that, you know, doing that, you know, not to look, we're not Mother Teresa and this and that, but it's just it's a beautiful thing, man. I will love stand up forever. And yeah, man, it's hard to wake up every day and be like, yeah, you know, you're going to do this. You're going to keep pushing with, you know, being hit by rejection after rejection after rejection, having to pay bills. You got to pay bills, and your show gets canceled, and you know the deposit doesn't come through, or this happens or that happens, and you get down, you know, to the last 5 people for this TV show, and then it doesn't happen. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you as well, and all our colleagues, you know. And it's like, you got to have the key, I think, is it's hard not to let it ruin you and become like a you know, an angry, bitter person, and then it kind of trickles into your act, you know. And I've seen that happen to people where it's just like, you don't want to, I don't know if I want to watch that person perform anymore, because they're just damn, man, they throw a stink into the room, you know, with what's going on, and it's hard to be like, just stay positive and stay funny, you know. Sometimes you got to step back a little bit, take a little break, and sometimes you got to find a little alternate stream of income or whatever, just to balance stuff out, you know. But yeah, man, there's plenty of times where I thought about tapping out, you know. Sure.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Chopin. I'm originally from France and Cameroon. I'm actually a personal trainer and group trainer and functional trainer specialized in post and pre-pregnancy transformation, wellness, weight loss. You can actually find me on Instagram, ChopinNatalie_WBFF Pro. Stay tuned. Alright, exercise here is going to be biceps. I'm going to show you a simple biceps curl and biceps hammer. So the first biceps hammer, keep your hands straight. You want to always bend them a little bit, not completely let them down. Keep them close to your body, that way you don't have that movement. We stay here, go slow. 1. Your core is always tight, the back is straight. 4, and you don't want to move your body while you're doing it. 5, I'm going to go to the lateral view. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Last 2 here. The last 1. That's the first one.
This is the Traffic Jam.